has, and you're like, oh, I have that.
Yeah.
You'll fucking know it, right? You're like, ooh, I got to work on that too, because you're going to feel it too. So I'll usually write that down and make sure I take care of it right then and there. But it also helps me. While I'm helping them, it's helping me too, right?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of, if I have that same kind of, I've been through that or something, I'm kind of healing as.
So if it triggers you, basically.
Yeah. But I would say the main thing is if you're hungover tired, like it's not a good thing.
Would you say you're just more vulnerable to what's coming at you and all the stuff that's being dumped at you?
Yeah, I just find that you're just not clear-minded, and your guard that kind of blocks your emotions, your ability to separate yourself is kind of, I don't know, it's
like
wounded,
blurred,
it's
foggy.
down, it's wounded, or it's just not there, right? So things are, negative emotions from other people are getting in easier.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting, man.
Yeah.
This is such interesting shit. I'm so fucking interested in this. And I've seen it nonstop, right? Like I've seen it obviously since the fall. I've been watching Hypnosis with Tony the whole fucking tour.
Yep.
But it doesn't mean I'm every time I'm still fucking amazed every time there's some sleep. Right?
It probably falls right down.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your spiritual tank, we'll call it, right?
Yep.
So you said that sort of you're focused on mental, and that you use hypnosis to kind of improve yourself mentally, and use the gym for physically.
Yep.
What was the more recent spiritual, is it a practice that you found, or how did you, where's the connection?
Well, I've always considered myself spiritual, and, I've, because in my office I ask people, you believe in God, you're spiritual?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But what are you doing about it?
Right.
Because everyone's like, oh, yeah, I believe there's something.
Right.
But nobody really does anything about it. They just say, yeah, I believe there's something else.
Well,
but
what are they supposed to do?
Well, I'm not just saying that they're supposed to, right? Because that's
right.
what I was doing, right? I was like, oh, yeah, I believe in something. But, it worked out that this recent girl that I've just recently broke up, we're still good friends.
Yep. You always are. You always are with the exes.
Right? Yeah. So
did you just have an emotion? Right? I gotta work on that.
Right.
Okay.
So anyway, she brought me to a church that I've gone to, and there's a new age Christianity in church, and again, I'm always open to all of them. I studied Buddhism. I was starting to read the Quran and all these different things, right? I think there's something there. I try not to follow organized religion too much myself.
Yeah.
Like I said, as a child, I was told that I had to live up to these commandments and this and that, and game over from the get-go. Everybody's broken them, so everyone feels guilty, right?
Yeah, sure.
But I started to really kind of read up on some books and stuff like that, and realize that I wouldn't say that I'm religious, but I've recently just opened up to a relationship with higher source, God, whatever you want to call it, right?
Right. The universe. I personally just use the universe.
Universe, universe, God, source, whatever. And I've recently had a peace come in that I've never had before, right? That's really given me, Mara told you that approval, that acceptance, it's built into all of us for a reason, and you're never going to get it from other people,
right?
What you need to get is from there, and once you got that, it doesn't fucking matter what Tom, Dick, or Harry think of me.
Right.
I don't care what you say or don't say. I don't care if you like me or don't like me, because I'm okay, right? I have the acceptance that I need.
So you still think that there's something that needs to come from outside of you, though? You can't get it all from...
It's internal.
It's internal.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. You just got to open up to it, and it comes in. Yeah, it's internal. It's totally internal.
So it's just being open enough to
allow it
receive.
In. To allow it in. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
And if I look back, I can honestly say, it's been there the whole time.
Right.
I just haven't been open to it.
You've ignored it.
Yeah,
sure.
And then because I've ignored it, I've had to self-medicate.
Yeah, me too.
Right? And other places.
Why do you think that is, that we're so fucking ignorant to wanting to just connect with? Like, why do we not let ourselves?
Because I think it's kind of boring. And still, like, I can tell you, if I have children, like, he's gonna fucking know it right off the hop how to do it.
Yeah.
But the thing is it's religion and all that shit. I think they're just going the wrong way about it. It's very fear based, and it's just that's kind of what it is, right?
Yeah.
Like they're saying you have to do and you have to act, and if you don't do these things, you're not getting in.
Right.
And so no wonder people are running so far away from it, and people need it more and more now more than ever. I think.
Would you? I agree that everyone needs something spiritual, because the way that this world is going right now is fucked up.
Yeah.
Like you said, I mean, anxiety is running rampant. People are living in their cell phones, looking for that external validation through social media constantly.
Yeah, well, cell phones are the new cigarettes, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I was doing some research on that. Actually, every time that you get like a text message or basically contact, there's a little hit of dopamine that goes off in your brain.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild.
And all these like prescription pills and everything that are going on that are never really addressing the issue. They're just masking it, right? So everybody's just fucking blasted on all because, you know,
they feel like something's missing, right? I mean, and they don't know what it is. They don't have the answer.
So they're striving for something that's like a hamster on the wheel, man.
Yeah.
Just constantly running and running and spinning and spinning.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to you about something that you said in the show because it really stuck with me.
Okay.
When you were hypnotizing people, there's a few times where you said, we are not motivated by money.
Yeah.
So, like, what about these people that are out there chasing money and trying to get richer and richer and richer? What's that?
Well, I mean, money can be a short-term motivator, right?
Gratification.
But it won't, it's not fulfilling. Do you understand? So I remember a client of mine came into my office years ago, and he said, he was in his 70s, and he said, I thought when I'd made my first $1 million, I'd be happy.
Right.
And I wasn't, so I kept going. And I made $5 million, right? And then I wasn't. I made $10 million, and it's like, now I don't even know who my friends are, and I'm, you know. And he's just a lonely old man. So that kind of struck with me a little bit. But I know that, you know, I'm not that money's bad, you know, it's good. We need money is good.
And you can help people with it.
For sure.
Yeah, as long as you're using it for the right purpose.
And everybody, I think everybody can and should and have the belief to be abundant with money. Everybody should be rich, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But to know that, you know, it's not the only thing to go after. And I think in our society, you know, we believe that, you know, my importance of who I am, my stature, is how much money I make.
Sure.
Do you understand?
Yeah. Or what
the things I possess and all that. And people run after that.
Yeah.
And, you know, and like, you know, I did that for years too.
Same with me, man.
I would buy something and I'd have it for a couple of weeks and I'd want to buy something else. I'm like, what's going on? And I just kept running and running. Yeah. And commercials and all that stuff just kept making me want to buy more stuff that I didn't fucking need.
Right.
I just kept buying and buying, and I was like, man,
what the fuck am I doing?
Why I have money, man. And I'm like, I'm not fucking happy, right?
Yeah.
So I realized if it affects me to that extent, it's going to affect a lot of other people.
Sure.
Right? And I think a lot of people come that same way, right? And they feel like, you know, and I remember being at a spiritual retreat, and I remember meeting two people that said that they were homeless for a year. Okay, they lived in California, so it's not so bad.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah,
you're all right in California. Yeah. But they told me that because there was no expectation, they were in the present. They just did what they wanted. It was the best year of their life.
Really?
Two of them, they didn't know each other. I met two of them, and they told me the same fucking thing.
Really?
Yeah. They said I was on the streets and I had nothing to do, nobody to answer to. I mean, in California, Marin, you're not in the winter. Like, I'm sure being homeless here,
it's a little more of a struggle.
In the winter, right? But you know, you could see that there was no possessions, didn't need anything, and we've all heard the spiritual saying, though, if you want everything, give everything up, and that's kind of what that says to me, right? To somebody, But again, in no way, shape, or form am I saying money's bad. I think, you know, everyone should have money and abundant and have fun, and then, you know, the earth's our playground. Have fun, right? For sure.
Yeah. But I can understand that. I mean, it's just like chasing after that when you're a kid. It's, you know, you want to get that Lamborghini or that Ferrari.
For sure.
And then now that I know people with Lamborghinis and Ferraris,
we all know, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But you go to dinner with them, and they are constantly staring at their car, seeing if anybody's near it, or anybody's taking a picture, and they're running outside, and like that's an additional stress in your life.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. More money, more problems too, for sure. So that's why, again, it's important that if all you have, if your goal is, if you're just money driven solely, then it becomes like that. I find I've helped a lot of people with that. But if, you know, you're at peace with yourself and, you know, you're all right with it, like, and your possessions don't own you, right? Then you're okay, right? Sure. Like, my bike gets stolen, okay, he needed it more than I did. Like, I mean, I'm all right. I can buy another one. It's not the end of the world. Well, you know, you could be just like, oh, I'm going to find them and kill them. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
The one thing that I thought was really cool, I mean, I did a lot of reading over, like, you obviously picked your spiritual path. I did a lot of reading and studying on Buddhism.
Yep.
And they kind of go in depth and dig deep, right? They dig deep and say, okay, well, do you ever really own anything? Like, nothing is ever permanent. It's either going to wear out or you're going to die and it's going to move on to someone else.
Well, yeah, we're not taking any of it with us.
Yeah, exactly, right? So it's one of those things where enjoy it while it's here.
Yep.
But don't attach to it, and when it's gone, be like, okay, well, that's not supposed to be a part of my life anymore.
Exactly. Yeah.
And be able to, like, you're very capable of detaching with things.
Yeah.
So why do you think? Let's get into some relationships with you now, because I'm curious. Because every time I see you, it's like, oh, I just broke up with it. I just got out of, you know, we're still friends, but I'm out of a relationship. Why do you think that you're still single? Because,
well, you know, I'll be completely honest with you. I think, you know, unless I'm internally happy, it's gonna be difficult for anybody to be happy with me because I'm like if I'm upset, you know it. If I'm happy, you know it.
Right.
And as I told you, physically good, mentally good,
spiritually good.
Yeah. I think the next woman I date will probably be the one I marry.
Really?
Or at least it'll be close.
Do you think? So do you think when
I
you
I feel more at peace than I ever have in my life now, right?
Yeah.
So I think I'm plus like. Back in the day, I was fucking partying, and we were out DJing and doing all this stuff. Like, had I married somebody then, like, what a disaster!
Oh my god, man! I know. I think back on that, dude. Like today, it's so funny because today I actually, and obviously I've gotten up early. Being sober, you get up sort of earlier in the mornings, and you feel good about it. But today, for some reason, and maybe it was because I knew you were coming too, and we'd have so many of those mornings where we've had the birds chirping and the sun coming up.
Yeah.
This morning, I was just thinking, I thought, the sun's coming up right now. The birds are my friend. I don't feel bad at all. This is such a better way to live than the way that I used to live.
Yeah, you love waking up in the mornings, right?
Yeah.
Instead of like, here it comes.
Yeah. Draw the blinds. Like, I used to live in like a black fucking room. It was like, cover all the windows, make sure I can lay in bed all day with the sun shining. Right?
Yeah.
What a waste.
I got you.
What a waste.
I know.
So do you think that the next woman that you're with, you kind of tapped your finger on spiritual. Do you think you're going to meet her in a spiritual setting? Like,
I'm open to it. And again, I'm not going to put that pressure on me. Like the next one has to be right. I'm just saying that I feel like I'm at peace and I'm ready for something like that. Right. Well, and I'm glad I did because I'm glad that you had to find it, and everyone's going to find their stuff. And it's not to say that I couldn't have done it before, but. I mean, let's get into another, pile of worms, or is it fucking
opening a can of worms?
Can of worms. Sorry, is that most of the people I know that got married are all divorced now, right? They're on marriage 2 or 3. So
I know,
you know what I mean.
You never think that's going to happen to us, right? It's like,
so I have no doubt, like who I was when I was 25 to who I was when I'm 30. To who I am right now is not at all. But I think, obviously you're going to evolve with your partner, but it was just such a roller coaster for where I was and what I was doing that, I think, you need to have a sense of peace.
Yeah.
So I think, having worked on myself in all aspects, I think, again, I'm not saying I'm perfect or my spiritual quest isn't over. I'm going to continue learning and improving and having fun.
Well,
but I think I'm more at peace, right?
Yeah,
I'm at that peace where, I don't need to self-medicate or do any of that stuff or... I'm at peace.
Or escape.
Exactly. Yeah. Self-medicate, escape.
Yeah, sure. I guess it's the same thing.
idea, right? Right? Just numb that whatever I'm missing.
Yeah.
Right? It's not there and I'm at peace.
Yeah.
So,
I feel the same way that you do. I feel like the next one is going to be the one, but at the same time...
Without pressure, right?
Maybe
the next 1 or 2 or 3,
sure,
whatever one,
sure.
but it's coming, right?
But it becomes harder to open yourself up to, like, especially being sober, right? It's like, okay, now you're going back to when you first started dating in high school, because I haven't, like, I think I had... For the first time, I had sex sober. Since I was like fucking 16, I think. And I don't even know. I don't even think the first time I had sex. I know I wasn't sober. I was fucking wasted, right? Like, I was kind of conditioned at that point in time to be drunk every time I had sex, for the most part, right? And now this is kind of, obviously when you have a girlfriend and you date, you have sober sex after a while, but usually that first couple times, there's some fucking alcohol involved.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
So now it's like, I'm sober and I go on sober dates, and you kind of look at this person and it's you pick out where, like, okay, well, this is kind of something I might not be able to put up with, or this is something I might not be able. I find it's harder. Yeah. Because before, it's probably better for me long term. It'll probably be better for you. But when you're drinking and you're partying, you're willing to accept more flaws right off the hop just to get laid, really.
Yeah, that's true. But mind you, you probably wouldn't have wasted so much time in a relationship you shouldn't have fucking been in the beginning.
Absolutely.
Because you're self-medicating. You know there's a red flag, but, I'll take a drink and it doesn't bother me so much, right? It is a give and take, right? Yeah. But I think, if you really take the time to find peace within yourself, you
don't need that shit.
No one's going to be perfect either, right? Yeah. You can't have that. And I think you're better able to focus on what's good about the person, right? Because, I work with help with people in relationships. When you first meet them, everything about them that you like is so good, and all those red flags aren't there.
No.
With a couple months in, 6 months in, a year, all those things you loved about that person have become par. They're at par. But all the people that bothers you, so you went from, loving everything about them and not worrying about what was bad about them, to expecting everything that's good about them as being normal, and
Right.
now you just point out all their flaws. Well,
Right.
then, because when you're drunk or you're under the influence of things, you can't control those thoughts, right?
Right.
They come in and you can't control them. While
Right.
when you're sober, you can really focus your mind a little bit more on I don't want to use positive thinking, but
Right.
you can really focus on what's good about that person,
Right.
more so
Than what bothers you.
what's negative, and
Right.
or at least it balances out. I'm not saying the person's going to be perfect,
Right,
but
yeah.
you're not just so focused on the other girl in the club, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
sure.
You can at least respect